So here we are again, back by persistently unpopular demand. And tonight I'm going to drop back into the pocket, into my comfort zone, if you like, into one of my favorite artists, and certainly continuing the theme of female vocalists into my singular favorite female vocalist, I think of all time. Sorry, Stevie Nicks, but this really is this really is the pinnacle for me of female vocalists. Um, Other vocalists are available. Not to say that your favorite female vocalist is any better or worse than mine, but this is the female vocalist that speaks to my soul, to my heart, and a nice, comfortable, simple song that I like very, very much, and I'm very comfortable talking about as a nice departure from the last couple of songs where I felt a little bit out to sea and where we had at least probably one swing and a miss. So, without further ado, as they say, let's go to the Royal Albert Hall and Stephen Wilson featuring Nanette Tayeb and Pariah. An absolutely beautiful venue. An amazing night. I was there for 2 of the 3 nights that this concert was performed. Highlight of my life, really. One of the best sets of concerts I've ever seen.
Tired of weakness, tired of my feet of clay. I'm tired of days to come. I'm tired of yesterday. And all the worn out things that I ever said. Now it's much too late. The words stay in my head.
So, this song was written pre COVID. I think the gig was 2018. As I say, I was at 2 of these 3 nights. The first night with my son, and the second night with my son and my daughter. And the song was written. The song wasn't written about a year of COVID. But as you listen to this song, it's impossible post-COVID to not kind of relate to it on that level. But it's a song about depression. It's a song about feeling. The song calls itself Pariah. The word pariah, I looked it up to make sure that I was absolutely accurate. The word pariah means outcast, but its origin, interestingly, is an Indian word, apparently relating originally to a caste of people that included drummers. So the idea of being an outcast, the idea of being an outsider, but I think this is a person who is feeling like a pariah to themselves, an outcast to themselves. It's a person feeling an absolute sense of depression. Now, I've said before in other videos, I myself have experienced the black dog. I've been through times in my life. I remember driving down a motorway on the way back, funnily enough, from a series of interviews with Steve Hogarth, pounding on the steering wheel of my motorcar, weeping with a sense of hopelessness because life was at that time not good. And I felt weak. I felt like my feet were clay. I was tired of the days to come in that I didn't know what they held for me. And I was, if nothing else, the regret of all the choices that you've made that bring you to here. All of this, there's nothing difficult to intuit in these lyrics. They are very root one. They are very on the nose. Wilson's intent here is very clear. So the question becomes, do they speak to you? Do they talk to you? Can you relate to them? And can you, in a way, I guess, unpick them in a particular way? And I particularly relate to all the worn out things I ever said. Now it's much too late, the words stay in my head. At that time in my life when I was being stalked by the black dog, some of the people in my life loved me enough to want to talk about it. And I got to the point I was sick of talking about myself. I was sick of talking about my problems. I was sick of every aspect of my life. And that is the position from which this song is written. And I think he captures it absolutely beautifully in what I suspect is a minor key, because they are very sad keys in which to capture this emotion. But then we get into the counterpoint and the very beautiful, very talented Ninette.
The words stay in my head. So the day will begin again. Take comfort from me. It's up to you now. You're still here and you're digging again. That's comfort to you. It's up to you now. Stop right, you'll begin again. Take comfort from me, and I will take comfort from you.
So, the other side of the coin, in this duet that was written specifically for Ninette to perform with Wilson. He'd worked with her on the previous album, Hand Cannot Erase, arguably one of my favorite albums of all time. And as he put it, he discovered what she was capable of, what range she had. She'd performed with him during at least some of the gigs when they went out and toured that album. And he had a sense of her as a vocalist, and he set out and wrote this duet for them to sing. And the musical duet is accompanied by the yin and the yang of this discussion between two people. He's depressed and tired of everything. And she says, but the day will begin again. Tomorrow will be tomorrow. You're still here. You'll get up. You'll continue to live because you always have. And I'm not going to tell you that everything's all right. I'm not going to tell you to smile. I'm not going to tell you just to cheer up, because none of those things are useful to someone. No one has ever felt better when someone has said, hey, just feel better. But I'm going to tell you that you, pariah, will begin again. And I want you to take comfort from the knowledge that I believe in you. And this act of believing you is going to give me comfort. Knowing that you're going to keep going is going to give me comfort. And that right there is this beautiful expression of how we support each other. And how perfectly does this sum up how so many of us have been feeling during the last year. Isolated, alone, depressed, trapped. And what do? We reach out to the people that we love and that love us, and we take comfort from each other. We watch YouTube videos and we comment on them and we talk to each other and we find ways to dig in and begin again.
And I will take comfort from you. Tired of Facebook, tired of my failing health.
That's the line that haunts me in this song because it's so perfect and beautiful. I'm tired of Facebook. I quit Facebook this year, had enough of the bile and toxicity. Found myself on YouTube where surprisingly there's been very little of that so far. Tired of my failing health. Wilson wrote, I was born in 67, the year of Sgt. Pepper and Are You Experienced? And I was born in 67, the year of those albums and Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues. Tired of everyone, including myself. And being alone now, it doesn't bother me. But not knowing if you are, that's been held, you see. That line. That idea that this person, this character that he's writing, can feel so down and depressed and broken and haunted by the black dog, but can still in their soul be concerned that she's on her own feeling that way, that she's not happy. The hell of knowing that somebody else that you love is in distress is far, far worse than the black dog. And in a weird way, is a motivation to beat your own dog so that you can club together and help beat theirs. A complete side note, this effect that they use with Nanette singing in what appears to be the sort of hologram above the stage. I first saw that effect touring with Marillion in '99. A black gauze curtain with a projection onto the front of it and smoke creates this wonderful holographic effect. But what a beautiful way to take the very simple music video that was made to accompany this video and to have Nanette there every single night, even on the nights of the tour when she couldn't be there. In the Albert Hall, seeing that writ large was absolutely astonishing. Visually beautiful, evocative. It's a fantastic effect. And I was kind of pleased that, what was it, 1999 to 2018, nearly 20 years after I'd seen Marillion play that trick, here we were in the Albert Hall with Steve Wilson's team playing that same trick. It's a very, very lovely effect. But then we get into the chorus again, and after the chorus we get into the musical redemption.
Being alone now, it doesn't bother me. Not knowing if you want what's right now, you see. So the day will begin again. Take comfort from me. It's up to you now. You're still here and you're digging again. Let's comfort to you. It's up to you now. So bright, you're beginning again. Take comfort from me. It was a
So that's just a hint of what this lady can do. Later on in this little conversation about the ladies who sing for us, we'll explore her abilities in greater detail. Just a little hint of the power in this voice. But an important little note in this lyric. Firstly, musically, how nice is it that the first chorus is her comforting him, but during key points of the second chorus, he joins her, and their harmony together is fantastic, but he joins her and he echoes those words, and you start to realize, it starts to underline the idea that the pariah and the pariah are comforting each other. This is mutual support during a time of depression, of crisis. And that last line, it will take time. Life isn't a movie where you can write one magical scene and everything is fixed. If you're feeling that life is tough, if you're feeling that 13, 14 months of COVID has hurt, if you're feeling that the world is getting you down, if you're hearing the black dog behind you, you will begin again. Take comfort from your friends and know it will take time. But you're not alone. We're not alone.
Begin again. Take comfort from me. It will take Don't you worry, don't worry about a thing, 'cause nothing really dies, nothing really ends.
I've no idea at all what that last line means to Stephen Wilson. Nothing really dies, nothing really ends. But I do know that he ended this song on redemption and optimism. He ended on this incredible musical build. And as far as I know, I believe that's some kind of musical maths where they can keep making the notes seem like it's rising and rising and rising beyond the point where it doesn't feel like it can rise anymore, and then it does again. It's some kind of clever musical trick, and if you know how they do it, answers in a postcard. But it's fantastic. And there's that great welling, that sense of the color that bleeds into the world, and that sense of redemption in the music. And then this last lyric, don't worry about a thing, because nothing dies, nothing really ends. I don't know what he meant by that, but I know what I take from it. And what I take from it is that the things that are important, love, relationship, as long as our name is spoken in the world, said Terry Pratchett, we will not die. And those things that we feel live into eternity. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful little song. It takes on a great resonance post-COVID. It has a great resonance for anyone that's battled with any kind of depression. And it features just a hint of an incredible voice being employed by one of the finest songwriters writing music in the world today, in my sometimes almost never humble opinion. If you have been, thank you for doing so. I hope you do so again as we continue to explore together. Keep the faith.